What are the precautionary measures you are taking to who all got vaccinated? Kindly share the information here. If anybody have got vaccinated, you can mention your names. And when you are going to get vaccinated, that also you can give information here. Okay. But we all used to put vaccination, no? We are under 50, oh, sorry, 45 only. Then why can't you people receive vaccination? Anyway, inquire in your area and take vaccine. What other precautionary measures you are taking? Whether everyone is wearing mask at home? You can share your points, whatever you are doing one by one, you can share, no, so that even others also can be following. Huh? And whatever video clips you have made was very good. It was very useful also. So from that you would have learned and you should be following, right? You can share some points here so that we can. So nobody is willing to share the points. Others, Afsana, Annie, whether all are attending the class or not.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon. You can share the points. Right?
Good
In the
afternoon.
call only you will be sharing or what? Huh? You should have come forward and you should have shared the points, whichever you follow at home, so that others also will be following and will be safe from COVID-19, right?
Yes,
Afsana,
ma'am.
yeah,
Ma'am,
you can
in our home we are following amla juice at morning, ma'am.
okay. Empty stomach, huh, you are taking.
Yes, ma'am. In empty stomach.
Okay, good. What other things you are doing? Okay, Afsana say again, said one measure that what she is following. Huh? What about Annie?
Ma'am, we can maximum avoid traveling outside.
Only you are doing that. Hmm? What precaution you are taking apart from traveling outside? What are the daily measures you are taking so that it will be very safe?
Ma'am, in case of necessary needs, if we had to go out, we come in by sanitizing ourselves, ma'am, inside a house.
Okay. You are using sanitizer. Hmm?
Yes, ma'am. Wearing masks and gloves when we go out, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, good. And next, Anukirtana. Anukirtana. Yeah, say,
Ma'am,
say what measure you are taking.
when traveling, wearing mask and gloves, ma'am.
Apart from that, so you can use sanitizer, mask, and gloves. Is all. Apart from that, intake what you are taking means
Ma'am, eating healthy foods, ma'am.
what type of food so that others also will be following.
Ma'am, green vegetables and like
Others
that, ma'am.
were taking any kashayam like that.
Yes, ma'am. I have kasayam daily morning, ma'am.
Which kasayam? What are the constituents it has? What all you will use for making kashayam?
Ma'am,
What are the ingredients you will be using for making kashayam?
ma'am, in stores that having ready-made powder, ma'am.
Okay, kabasura kudinira.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, that's good. And also to be taken in empty stomach before eating. You want to take. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no good. So,
Thank you.
amla juice, taking amla juice in empty stomach and kashayam, wearing mask, gloves, sanitizer. These are all the measures what these five people say. In the next class, I'll be asking remaining persons, okay, from roll number 6, you want to share your measures, what you are taking, so that we will also follow and it will be um, what like awareness to others also, and whatever said is recorded and it will be followed forwarded to others also, so they will also follow, so give useful measures in the next class. Being a future pharmacist, we want to share useful measures, preventive measures for COVID-19. Okay, and now let's proceed with the class. Hope you all have gone through complexometric titration part 1, right? You have seen the explanation for complexometric titration. What other points we have discussed under complexometric titration? In that 50% portion is remaining. In the next class tomorrow, I'll be explaining that, okay? Masking. My voice is not audible. So it's not clear, huh?
Breaking, ma'am. Breaking,
Just,
ma'am.
breaking. Okay.
విత్
Just a
విత్
minute.
చెప్పండి
I'm
విత్
using different device for mic. Now can you hear clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So in complexometry, what we have discussed? Mm? Can anyone say the points what we have discussed in the complexometric titration? What are the titles we have discussed under complexometry? Rajkumar. Yeah,
మ్యామ్
classification we have seen.
డైరెక్ట్ టైట్రేషన్
Yeah.
డైరెక్ట్ టైట్రేషన్ బ్యాక్
Mm.
టైట్రేషన్ రీప్లేస్మెంట్ టైట్రేషన్ అండ్
Mm.
ఇండైరెక్ట్ టైట్రేషన్ మ్యామ్
Okay, so we have seen the types of complexometric titration, classification of that. Then definition on complexometry, we have seen demasking, masking reagents, and estimation of what calcium gluconate and magnesium sulfate will be discussing tomorrow. Now I'm moving on to gravimetric method. Okay, so we'll discuss about gravimetric method in the unit third itself. We have another topic, gravimetric titration. Okay. Can you see the slides now? Is it visible? Only
Yes, ma'am.
95 are there. Okay, okay, thank you. So observe the slides for explanation on gravimetric method. Hmm. Can you observe the full screen? And can you see the change of slides?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Not with full screen, it's not changing. Okay. Okay, now we'll see about the first method. The contents of gravimetric method according to your syllabus is principle and steps involved in gravimetric analysis. Okay, principle behind gravimetric method and what are the steps involved in gravimetric method that we are going to see as the first part of gravimetry. And second part of gravimetry is purity of the precipitate and how it is affected by co-precipitation and post-precipitation. This is the second title we are going to see under gravimetric method. And thirdly, estimation of barium sulfate. We are going to see estimation of barium sulfate. So these are all the three topics that we are going to discuss under gravimetric method. Principle, steps involved in gravimetric analysis, then purity of the precipitate. Here also gravimetry is nothing but we are going to take weight of precipitate. We are going to analyze the weight of precipitate. Gravitational analysis we are saying here gravity represents gravimetric represents analyzing weight of the analyte. Okay, weight of the analyte. So we are going to take weight of the analyte through making it to form precipitate. That's why here we are going to see about precipitate. And the precipitate formed should be highly pure. Then only we can quantify accurately the decided sample. And how it will be affected by co-precipitation and post-precipitation we are going to discuss now. And seeing example, you are going to learn clearly about the concept behind gravimetric analysis. What is the estimation of barium sulfate? So barium sulfate will be the precipitate formed through chemical reaction, and this precipitate will be analyzed through gravimetric method. So taking weight of the precipitate of barium sulfate, how we are quantifying by gravimetric method, that we are going to see in brief. Okay, principle, steps, purity of the precipitate, then estimation of barium sulfate. Firstly, we'll move on to the principle and steps involved in gravimetric analysis. Before that, we'll see what is gravimetry. Gravimetric analysis describes a set of methods used in analytical chemistry for the quantitative determination of an analyte. It is used for the quantitative determination of an analyte, that is the ion being analyzed. An analyte represents the ion being analyzed based on its mass. Mass represents weight. Weight of the analyte. Based on the weight of the analyte, we are going to quantitatively determine the taken analyte. Okay, that is called gravimetry. So based on its mass, analyte will be quantitatively determined. That is nothing but gravimetric analysis. So what is gravimetric analysis? Gravi here represents mass. Metric represents determination. Determination of mass of analyte. Through titrimetric analysis. So only it is coming under titration process. Okay, gravimetry comes under titration process, but not volumetric method. It is gravimetric method. We'll be taking the weight of the analyte. Whereas in volumetric method, we will measure the volume of the titrant. Right, so that is called volumetry. This is called gravimetry. Since we are taking weight of the analyte, it is called gravimetry. Gravi represents mass, metry represents determination. Now let's see the types of gravimetric analysis. What are the different types of gravimetric analysis? The first one is based on precipitation formation. It is called precipitation method. Second one is volatilization method. We can make volatilize the solvent and we'll get the residue of the analyte as a precipitate. Okay, that is called volatilization method. Then electroanalytical method, using electrodes, the solutions are being analyzed. So it is called what, Annie? So that solutions will be analyzed through electrode, using electrode. and supplying electrical current. Positive and negative electrodes will be used to analyze the ions present in the solution. So that is called electroanalytical method. And fourth one is miscellaneous physical methods, or physical methods right here represents thermogravimetric analysis based on using temperatures or the weight is measured for the analyte at different levels. That is called thermogravimetric method, TGA. Thermogravimetric analysis it is called. We can say it is thermogravimetric method. So these are all the four types based on gravimetric analysis. Gravimetry means based on weight analysis of analyte. There are four methods: precipitation, volatilization, electroanalytical, miscellaneous, physical methods, or thermogravimetric method. What are the four methods? Based on precipitate formation means the weight of the analyte, we can make analyte to get precipitate, or we can make the analyte to get residue through volatilization process. Then we can analyze through electroanalytical method, and then through the thermogravimetric method. It is a type of physical method for analyte. Okay, so these are all the four types of gravimetric method. So what is gravimetry? It is quantitative determination of an analyte, that is the ion being analyzed based on its mass. Okay, it is the quantitative determination of analyte based on its mass. It is called gravimetric method. Okay. Then next is types of gravimetric analysis: precipitation, volatilization, electroanalytical, physical, or thermogravimetric method. Now let's see some examples of gravimetric method. For physical methods, through physical methods, total solids, suspended solids, dissolved solids, oil and grease, and surfactants. These type of analytes are analyzed through evaporation, filtration and evaporation, and extraction with chlorofluorocarbon and distillation of that solvent. Then surfactants through extraction into ethyl acetate and evaporation. So these are all the pre-treatment procedures to get solids through physical methods. You have to know what are the different analytes are analyzed by physical methods. Total solids are analyzed, suspended solids, dissolved solids, oil and grease, surfactants. So these are all different substances analyzed by physical gravimetric method. Where thermal methods, volatile solids, volatile suspended solids are measured. Volatile solids through evaporation, it is measured. Here you can use volatilization also. It is a method of volatilization. Then volatile suspended solids also can be analyzed through filtration at the mentioned temperature, that is 550 degrees Celsius at highest temperature. Then precipitation, using proper cation and anionic combination, we can make it to insoluble precipitate, and that precipitate can be analyzed. Magnesium is precipitated with diammonium hydrogen phosphate and final pyrolysis. Pyrolysis using temperature, it will be going for degradation. Then sodium with zinc uranyl acetate, silica by precipitation, ignition, volatilization with hydrofluoric acid, then sulfate with barium. This sulfate with barium through precipitation method, you are going to learn how it is done by gravimetric analysis also. So barium will be precipitated as sulfate, barium sulfate, and this analyzed gravimetrically through precipitation method. Okay. So these are all different samples analyzed by different gravimetric methods: physical, thermal, and precipitation. Now let's move on to the actual principle of gravimetric method. The principle behind the gravimetric analysis is that the mass of an ion, sulfate ion, here you can see sulfate ion, in a pure compound, mass of an ion in pure compound, and can be determined. Mass of ion in pure compound is analyzed and it is determined. Later, this mass of the determined ion, known ion mass, will be compared with the same ion present in an impure compound. Okay, In impure compound, how much mass of the same ion is existing. So both will be compared. This is sample ion and this is standard ion. So both will be compared to get the purity of sample ion, that is in impure compound, present in impure compound. So the ion may exist with other anions or other cations. If you take sulfate ion, may exist with, in pure form only sulfate is present. In impure form, it will be having some other anions also in it. So if we add barium, it will be precipitating only sulfate as barium sulfate, where other anions will be removed. Okay. So that pure sulfate ion weight will be compared with impure sulfate ion where it is present in the sample. Okay. So standard ion will be compared with sample ion. Mass of standard ion will be compared with mass of sample ion. So the mass will be cross multiplied to get percentage mass of the sample ion. Ion represents cation or anion. When both are combined will give you insoluble salt, and some anion and cations only will form insoluble precipitate. So in that case, that anion present in the sample will be analyzed by gravimetric method. So best example is barium sulfate. Barium ion, if it is added to sulfate anion, barium cation is added to sulfate anion, it will be precipitated as barium sulfate as solid. Okay. Here you can observe the steps involved, mechanism involved in gravimetric analysis. Firstly, weighing the sample to be analyzed. Then dissolving this sample in water. Mostly sulfate anion means potassium sulfate. For example, potassium sulfate is water soluble. So it is taken in the beginning. Then it is dissolved in water. So it will give a saturated solution. Then adding a suitable chemical to form a precipitate. So which will make sulfate to get precipitated as insoluble form barium. So if you add barium chloride to it, it will be converted to barium sulfate precipitate. Okay. And then filtering to collect the precipitate. After then the solution is filtered to collect the precipitate, and that precipitate is dried, and then it is weighed to calculate the mass, and this mass will be compared with the sample mass. Okay. So this is the principle of, and this weight will be cross multiplied to get the percentage purity of the particular ion present in the sample. Well, first we need to make soluble solution, homogeneous solution. Then the ion present in the homogeneous solution is getting precipitated, adding proper cation or anion to that, and this precipitate is filtered off, and that filtrate is that residue. Residue will be will be dried, and then it is weighed, and the mass or weight of that residue is taken for the purity calculation. So this is the principle behind gravimetric method. Means mass of known ion will be compared to the mass of unknown ion. So what is the principle behind gravimetric method? Can anyone explain from the picture? So known mass of ion will be compared with unknown mass of ion. And both ion will be same. So sample ion will be compared with standard ion, which is compared, mass of that ion is compared in gravimetry. Got it? What is mass? Mass is nothing but weight of that ion. Okay. weight of that ion. So this is about principle of gravimetry. Now let's move on to the steps involved in gravimetric analysis. There are 6 steps involved in gravimetric method. The first one is preparation of the solution, then precipitation, then digestion of the precipitate, then washing and filtering of the precipitate, drying and ignition, weighing and calculation. First, preparation of the solution. You can observe in the previous slide itself. Preparation of solution. You can see weighing and preparing the homogeneous solution. And then precipitation. It is precipitated by adding suitable cation or anion. Here in case of sulfate, cation is added. Barium chloride solution will be added to precipitate out barium sulfate. Like how chloride ion is precipitated with silver nitrate. Similarly, barium sulfate ion is precipitated with barium sulfate. You should have done a limit test for sulfate, right? The same chemical reaction is used for gravimetric method. Whatever precipitate is formed through limit test, whatever you have done, that can be precipitated and can be taken for quantification purpose. And next is digestion of the precipitate. Digestion is meaning here as applying some heat for that solution so that in boiling condition even smaller molecules also will be dissolved in the solution so that bulk amount of precipitate, whatever sulfate ions are present in the sample, will be completely precipitated as the insoluble precipitate. For that case, we are making the solution applying the solution for digestion process. Digestion represents the solution will be heated for making even minute particles also to get into the solution, and then it will get precipitated with a particular anion or cation. Okay, for that case only digestion is applied. Digestion is nothing but what? Applying heat to boil the solution in order to bring the even smaller particles also to get completely dissolved in the solution. So we were seeing what is digestion of the precipitate. Digestion represents making it soluble through boiling, applying some temperature, making the solution to boil. This precipitated solution will be allowed to boil so that smaller particles also will get into the solution so that large amount of precipitate will be formed and complete sample will get precipitate. Even none of the sample molecule will be left over in the solution. All will be formed into precipitate. That is why digestion is made. Then fourth step is washing and filtering. Once all the anions or cations present in the solution to form, once it is formed as precipitate, then it is taken for washing and filtering the precipitate. Then filter the precipitate, that mark available here, mark where you can find in the filter paper. The mark or residue left over in the filter paper is taken for the next step, that is drying and ignition. After complete drying without any solvent particle, if it is dried properly, then it is taken for weighing and calculation. So this is the step. These are all the steps involved in gravimetric analysis. First, you are making solution, then making it to precipitation, Then digestion of the precipitate is done. Then washing and filtering of the precipitate is done. Then drying and ignition, it is taken for that process. Drying and ignition. Then weighing and calculation. Got it? Here is brief procedure. What is digestion? Digestion is otherwise called as Oswald ripening. Oswald ripening. This may be a 2-mark question. So the precipitate is left hot below boiling point for 30 to 60 minutes in order to digest the particle. I already said with some temperature the precipitate is allowed to boil in below its boiling point. Below the sample boiling point, it is allowed to heat or boil that temperature between 30 to 60 minutes, 30 and 60 minutes in order to digest the particle. This digestion involves dissolution of small particles and reprecipitation on large ones when cooling slowly. Okay, it will allow all small particle to get dissolved in the solution, and when it is coming for cooling nature, then it will be reprecipitated in large amount. And this process is known as Oswald ripening, and digestion is highly useful for colloidal precipitation. Colloidal precipitation, like if the precipitate is not obtained properly, then we can go with Oswald ripening. So that that's what mentioned with colloid. Colloid will be like semi-liquid, right? Semi-solid, not semi-liquid. Milk and all in colloidal form. No, for that case we can go with Oswald ripening. And next part is purity of the precipitate, whereas we'll see about co-precipitation and post-precipitation. So now what are the things we have seen under first part of gravimetric method? Can anyone say what are the points we have discussed under first part of gravimetric method, principle and steps involved in gravimetric method? Gopinath, Roja.
Ma'am,
Say no.
to determine the analyte, ma'am,
Yeah, say Roja.
ma'am, to determine the analyte weight
Okay.
and
Then what are the things we have discussed now? Huh? Okay, good. What is gravimetry we have seen, and what types of gravimetric analysis we have seen, and some examples of gravimetric methods, different methods we have seen, and principle behind gravimetric method we have seen, and steps involved in gravimetric analysis we have discussed, and what is Oswald ripening or digestion is seen. Now moving to the second part, saying about co-precipitation and post-precipitation. These two parameters will affect the purity of the precipitate. So that we need to discuss what is precipitate and what are the factors will affect the purity of precipitate. Okay. In that, first we'll see what is a precipitate. A precipitate is an insoluble solid that emerges from a liquid solution. That's what we have seen, how the precipitate is formed. An insoluble solid that emerges from a liquid solution. From homogeneous solution, an insoluble solid is formed. That is called precipitate. And now next we need to know what is solubility product. Here everything is dealt with solubility. Either homogeneous solution is formed or biphasic solution like precipitate solution, semi-solid is formed. So we should see what is solubility product. And the same term is applicable for precipitation titration also. It is not prescribed in your syllabus. Then also we need to know what is solubility product. It is represented with KSP. K represents equilibrium constant. SP represents solubility product. Okay. The solubility product constant is nothing but it is a constant, equilibrium constant of solubility products. So the solubility product constant is the equilibrium constant for the dissolution of a solid substance. Dissolution of a solid substance, for example, barium sulfate, dissolution of this solid substance into an aqueous solution. Okay, it is denoted by the symbol KSP, that is equilibrium constant of SP. Solubility product constant. If it is, the solid substance is nothing but an insoluble solid substance. When it is getting diluted or dissolved in this aqueous solution, it will be existing as its ions. Always we have seen already that the molecules will be existing as its ions in solution form. So barium sulfate will be dissolved in aqueous solution to exist with its ions. And in a saturated solution, you can see both ions and neutral molecule will be in equilibrium. So this solution of saturated solution of barium sulfate, either barium sulfate, both barium sulfate, barium ions and sulfate ions in aqueous form it will be having. And equilibrium constant for this reaction will be the products of ions divided by the product of reactant, concentration of reactant. And KSP is nothing but equilibrium constant of concentration of reactant. And that is equal to, here you can cross multiply this. So barium sulfate, equilibrium constant into barium sulfate, that is equal to barium ions and sulfate ions. So solubility product is nothing but the ions formed through the solubility of insoluble salt. So this is called solubility product, where barium sulfate and ions are in equilibrium. So this is called solubility product, and this product will be product formed through solubility of insoluble salt will be affected with common ion effect. This is another term, common ion effect, where formed ions will be, this ionization will be reduced. Ionization constant for the salt will be reduced when common ion is present in the solution. Like either barium ion or sulfate ion in common, if it is added, then the solubility of this particular barium sulfate will be reduced. For example, here potassium nitrate is added. If you take potassium nitrate solution, that will be splitted as potassium and nitrate ions. If you add potassium sulfate to that, where potassium ion will be common for both the molecules, where potassium nitrate is homogeneous solution. When you add potassium sulfate, where common ion of potassium is increased, and that converts without ionization, it converts to insoluble salt only. That means backward reaction will be promoted and no molecule will be solubilized, or it will decrease the solubility of the salt. Okay, due to common ion, when the ionic nature of potassium is increased, it will be combining more with anion. Instead of existing with ions, it will be converted to neutral molecule, since due to the common ion effect. Because two molecules, two salts will be having same ion, that is potassium ion. Thereby potassium ion concentration will be increased. This causes conversion of potassium into potassium sulfate. So potassium sulfate, when you add, it will not be soluble, it will exist as such, since due to common ion effect. What is solubility product? Insoluble salt solubilized into solution. So we'll get homogeneous solution. And ions and product will be reactants and products are in equilibrium. That is called solubility product. When common ion is added present in that solution, solubility product formation will be decreased. Ion formation will be decreased. How it is decreased? It is converted back to the neutral salt. So ion concentration is decreased here. So it reduces solubility. Common ion effect will reduce the solubility so that the molecule will not completely soluble. And this has advantages also. It is applicable in purification of salts. Wherever you don't want the ions to get to be present in the solution, it can be converted to its salts and we can purify. So it is applicable for purification of salts, then regulation of buffers, water treatment, manufacture of sodium bicarbonate, salting out of soap, and qualitative analysis. These are the applications of common ion effect. So what is solubility product is? Insoluble salt will get solubilized into its ions. So both will be in equilibrium ion concentration and the reactant concentration, products concentration and reactant concentration will be in equilibrium. And these products are called as solubility products. So that is the solubility product constant, KSP it is. And this will be reduced when common ion is present in the solution. So the solubility will be reduced and solubility product formation also will be reduced due to a common ion effect when it is present. And now let's proceed with co-precipitation and post-precipitation. And this part let us discuss in the next class. Okay. From co-precipitation, post-precipitation, estimation of barium sulfate. This all will discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you all for listening to this class. If any doubt, you can clarify now. Is there any doubt in gravimetric method? Principle, what are the things we have discussed? Principle, steps involved in gravimetric method, types of gravimetric method. Then in purity of the precipitate, what is precipitate, what is solubility product, and what is common ion effect. These are all the things we have discussed. If you don't have any doubt, we'll stop the class now. Okay, thank you all. Next 5 members, get ready with your COVID-19 precautionary measures in the next class.